You don't know the power of the dark side.
As I'm going through the list information still here, bear with me as I finish typing it in. My OBS has crashed twice on me now as I'm trying to do it, so third time's a charm here as Matthew opens up a good maneuver from Ryad there. Okay, so Matthew's list is up. Hopefully everybody's able to see the text clearly enough. I took some time to try and change the border patterns, if you will, to make it a little bit more visible. So we'll see. All right, now on to Alex's list. Whisper briskly moving up the bottom side of the board there. Looks like Matthew's just going to try to want to joust those bombers, get in a good position, and see what Ryad can do there. I really like the inclusion of Backdraft in his list. Backdraft, in my opinion, is probably the best Special Forces TIE pilot, just because his ability is really crucial. Quick Draws is really cool too, especially since he's a higher pilot skill, but I mean, depends. You can maybe get that ability off more than once. Quick Draw's ability is once he loses a shield, he can immediately perform an attack. But it just depends. In my experience, Quick Draw hasn't been that stellar when I've been playing against him. So, Alex is definitely setting up for an Ordnance launch here as I put his list in. He's got Deadeye with homing missiles, cluster mines, guidance chips, and extra munitions. So kitted out with all kinds of ordnance, those two Gamma Squadron vets. So, first shot's coming in. So Inquisitor's going to backdraft here, spinning the target lock with his home. Why is he rolling 4 dice there? 1 moment. Yep, so he's got homing missiles gone from the Inquisitor. Good solid 4 dice attack there. And how many shields from 3 shields from the backdraft there. So the TIE SF fighter's down the hole as he's going to plink some into that top Gamma Squadron veteran. Alright. OBS is not my friend today. So, Backdraft is able to deliver a crit onto the top Gamma Squadron vet, and it's a major explosion. It does not take anything for it. Also, when you're cleaning up, just clean up the dice off the tray. Thank you. So, OBS is not being my friend today. It's crashing on me a lot, and I'm not quite sure how to fix it. So, a lot of technical issues so far today. But hopefully we'll get those adjusted throughout the remainder of the event. So, just bear with us and we'll fix it. Yeah.
The store with the link to where you're at, so I can throw it up on both the community page, Facebook,
Oh, yeah.
our website, all that good stuff.
Yeah, I can write it down for you.
If you email, it'll just be easier for me, so I can just copy paste.
Sure.
Beautiful, man. I appreciate it. Sorry to interrupt, man.
Oh, you're good. All right. That's one. Bear with me here. Can you guys see the dice results okay? I worked pretty quickly to try to get a hold of that dice cam and make sure everything's okay there. So it looks to me like everybody can see the results. All right, so fingers crossed, and there we go. We have all of the list information currently updated. I apologize for that significant delay in doing so. So as I try to get caught up here and watch what's going on, I definitely learned a valuable lesson going into round 2. We'll see. Let me know in the chat also if you have any quality issues with the stream, obviously besides us cutting out. So, lots of pain on those attack dice there. Hit, crit, and only one evade looks like coming from one of the Gamma Squadron vets at the top there. So this is my first time streaming a regional event. I have never played in a regional event either. I'm more of a casual player than a competitive player. I generally try to organize all our league events at GameSwap back in Cincinnati. And coming up here to experience it, like I said earlier, we have 121 players at this event. So a huge turnout. And I'm trying not to be dreary and boring on commentary. Kind of nervous, so bear with me. But I definitely have a lot of things to talk about throughout the day. It's going to be a long day. And to a few viewers right now, hopefully I can engage them in quite good conversation throughout the day. Whisper not really doing a whole lot so far in this game, which is kind of not surprising. She's gonna decloak at the beginning of the activation phase. What's interesting though is which way she's going to decloak. If Matthew wants to take her into the asteroid field, anticipating perhaps a K-turn from the Gamma Squadron vet in the middle, and then just hard turn Whisper to the right and engage that bomber. So definitely with new Imperial veterans, it's awesome to see bombers played and not just the defenders. Don't get me wrong, the defenders are fantastic, you know, especially for those of you who have been flying them since before veterans have come out. But bombers are a lot of fun to fly too. If you haven't, I highly encourage you to do so. I like how Alex has repainted all of his ships to be Crimson Squadron. It's wonderful. The repaints look great. And I think that's a great thing about X-Wing that really appeals to a lot of players, is that the ships are already pre-painted, but you can still repaint them, so you don't have to dedicate all this time into painting your miniatures if you don't want to. I highly encourage you all to do so because, you know, why not? Just touch on your creative side a little bit. But that's one of the things that I find more appealing about this game than like 40k or Infinity. You don't have to pre-assemble your miniatures and pre-paint them. So as Whisper decloaked forward this round, we'll see what Matthew chooses to do with her. Maybe a 2-bank, perhaps, as that Top Gamma Squadron vet is dropping a cluster mine onto the SF tie. Definitely going to get hit by one. I'm not sure if it's taken both. So good placement there for the cluster mine. And the SF tie is down to no hull, so it's taken 2 damage. Taking 2 damage there. And that's a good thing too. Ordnance is rather potent. From what I've played recently, I only started playing in probably January earlier this year. I got the core set for Christmas and learned a hell of a lot about this game, especially on the competitive side. Casual side, you have things like Heroes of the Artillery Cluster and all the campaign missions that, or rather not campaign, all the scenarios that come with the ships. So it's a different take on the game. But this is probably one of the best competitive games I've ever played. I was a big Yu-Gi-Oh player for a while. I played it a ton in college. Played Dice Masters for a while. I wish I would have got involved with X-Wing last year instead of beefing up my Dice Masters collection. But it is what it is. I'm glad I'm into this game now. And it's a very good community. I talk with a lot of awesome and professional players around here, and especially online. Aaron Utley with Nova Squadron, Trinity Squadron Gaming out in San Francisco, among many others, just provide content for everyone to watch and research and be able to learn from. You know, and we have groups in the Columbus area in Ohio. Raven Squadron does a fantastic stuff as well. They're developing a lot more YouTube videos and developing different functionalities in programming for Twitch feeds and streaming feeds and stuff like that too. So it'll be really fun. No, yeah, that is a good point. So if, those asteroids are a no-go area. Lots of cluster mines up, and Alex really has a good opportunity to control more of the board with that cluster mine placement. Plus, he's got extra munitions, so he can drop even more. He doesn't really care at this point. The SF tie is down to 1 hull. Whisper hasn't taken any shots, nor has she. Have I seen her give any shots? Interesting to see that Whisper's turning in here. Is she gonna bump? The maneuver template moved a little bit. That's okay. I think she would have bumped there. But they're rolling with it, so Whisper taking a focus. And going into the round of combat, she's going to take some shots on... Ooh. She's going to finish off this Gamma Squadron vet. Let me go double check hull and shield values real quick. I'll be back. As Whisper rolls pretty average with 4 dice there. Hit, crit, and 2 evades from the Gamma Squadron vet. And that'll be all. So Gamma Squadron vet taking another crit. Let me go find out what it was and get an update on hull and shield information. Yeah, so both Gamma Squadron veterans are down to 2 hull. The number 3 is the topmost one. The number 2 is the bottommost one. Number 2 took a direct hit earlier, so they're both down to 2 hull. Not Aaron Bonar. That's awesome. Thanks for the compliments. I've worked... spent a lot of time designing this feed and trying to get it going. I'm glad you guys like the dice overlay too. It's currently on a blue screen right now. What I mean by blue screen is that I just layered a shoebox lid with blue painter's tape and tried to adjust the settings accordingly so that at least the results will still show up. Obviously the green dice are green, so I can't use a green screen. So both of the Gamma Squadron vets are down to 2 hull. As we see shots from Matthew here, it looks like Backdraft onto Whisper. Nope, there goes... oh, that was Ryad to a Gamma Squadron vet. But I'm glad viewers have tuned in today. It's awesome. I've been up pretty early this morning. We drove up last night, got into the hotel roughly 9 o'clock, came over to the store, checked it out, discussed how I was going to set up the stream today. I'll post pictures on Facebook at some point during the day so you can see what we're working with. But I thought we were going to have a huge issue at first because we couldn't connect to any of the networks properly, so I had to go by an Ethernet coupler, and basically we're wired from one end of the store to the other. So the streaming area right now is kind of away from the main crowd. Hopefully it's cutting out most of the background noise. The players right now are behind a wall, separating them and the main crowd. I'm behind an additional wall from the stream table. So hopefully you guys can hear me okay. Definitely got a lot of familiar faces out here. If you guys know the Rook Squadron, Ben Franz and Jeff Burling are 2 local players from my area. Some of you guys might know Jeff Burling. He won Gen Con Nationals in 2015, I believe is the year. He's made a lot of big ripples in the meta, most notably Dengaroo. And it's fantastic. Hopefully we'll see him on stream later. I'm going to try to bring you guys a variance of lists today. That being said, I don't want to show you guys PAL bases all throughout Swiss rounds, you know what I mean? So we'll see that later on in the day. I'm sure. But this is first round, so they just thought they would bring me 2 players who have different lists, and of course, bombers are a different list in the meta. So Whisper with the interesting decloak. Matthew flying rather well with her. She's been able to punch shots through and then just stay away from the main parts of the action, as it were. And he can really control how well she flies, especially through this cluster mine cluster. Alex is turning his Gamma Squadron vet perhaps away from combat as best he can. However, I think Ryad's probably just going to go straight through that cluster mine and not even care about taking any damage. Aaron, we had a total of 121 players today, so I'm not sure who exactly got the bye, but I just know somebody does have it. This is a single day event as of right now. A lot of people. A lot of people. I think it's funny that, and I'm guilty of this too, that Matthew's got the alternate art Veteran Instincts with a Rebel pilot on Whisper. I think that's quite humorous. Also looks like I'm probably going to have to adjust the dice camera a little bit. Lighting seems to be tricky once the shadows hit it a certain way. Hopefully the flicker is not too bad, but you can kind of see how the dice tray is laying on the screen. So Ryad going through that cluster mine did take 2 damage. I don't remember seeing it on the screen. Hopefully we're not having any issues there. Yeah, regional, I'm sorry, not regional. Store championships, I believe, start in May. I was trying to stay in contact with FFG about getting our local store a championship, but I don't think they have any extra kits. So, but there's a lot of awesome regionals coming up. I mean, there are, I think, 3 or 4 other events besides ours. Texas, one of them. I don't know the other ones, but quite a few other events. I'm not sure if they're streaming currently or not. But having watched the Wisconsin Regional, seeing Podash win that, and then the Omaha Regional, seeing Echo and Shirno win that. Shirno with the super useful hotshot co-pilot was insane. As we see 4 hits going into that, or sorry, 2 hits going into that last Gamma Squadron vet from Ryad. She will finish him off. And that goes 2/3 of Alex's list right there. So he's just got the Inquisitor left. And the Inquisitor has really been out of this game. He's kind of kept the Inquisitor from taking a lot of shots. I mean, he had a good salvo with his homing missiles, his 4 dice attack. and he put damage. You know, he removed all the damage from that shields from that TIE SF fighter. That TIE SF is down to one hull. I mean, Matthew's going to have to gun for it to really have, or you know, even get it out of the way. And it looks like he is pointed in a direction such he's going to go through his Alex's cluster mine token there and very possibly lose Backdraft to the cluster mine. Putting it up on the Roku. That's hilarious. Yeah, I wasn't aware you could do that. I didn't know. I don't know all the functionalities of a Roku. I don't have cable or anything. I just have internet. So usually I just put all of the games and stuff that I watch on YouTube. I'll stream it to my television. Which I suppose is kind of a downside to using Twitch over YouTube, is that people can't really put it on their TV easily. I don't know too much about that, so we'll see going forward. I would like to test with XSplit a little bit if I can. I really like OBS though. I really like the functionality that it has, and I'm learning a lot about it too. So I think a few of the things that I'm looking at adding into the stream is shield and hull counters, like a plugin that David Carver is developing from Raven Squadron. He's gone through Java and coded a program such that he's able to add squad lists to the stream without having to enter text manually. So you can go in and choose your upgrades, choose your ships, etc. And much less time consuming. I just can't figure out how to work it just yet. I haven't had a whole lot of time, so I make do with what I have. But it's people like that that really add a good bit of originality, and it's even better because he's pretty much saying, hey, this is open source, everybody else use it and tell me what you want from it, and I'll try to get it done for you and go from there. It's fantastic. I haven't met him yet in person, but he's a good guy. So Ryad's going to attempt to chase the Inquisitor here. Might see a barrel roll from Matthew, perhaps. No actions with Ryad there. That's interesting. Unless he was dealt a crit. No, I don't think so. So Backdraft definitely overlapping that cluster mine piece. Let's see the roll for it. All you need is white paint and that'll do it. So there goes Backdraft. So now all of a sudden we got a good game, guys. Ryad's down to just hull now, full hull. Whisper has already decloaked. She may end up turning away from combat this round. But it may end up being really, really tricky to get her back into the fight, as Alex is choosing what his actions are with the Inquisitor. She's probably going to turn here. Which way is she going to turn, to the left or right? Maybe left. The way Matthew is flown her, it's probably going to be left. So we'll see. Is anybody currently having issues with the stream quality, by the way? I'm trying to take notes at different timestamps during the stream. CPU usage isn't too intense today, but I'm recording locally as well as streaming, so that's why. Inquisitor tokening up there, expecting to probably end up in some combat with Whisper here as she banks. And, oh, that's not good. That's not good. Rolls over them both. Thanks, Thor, for that input there. Appreciate it. And lots of Lots of dice being rolled from those cluster mines there. As hit crit goes through, Whisper suffers them both. So shield's gone from Whisper, however, she's going to be able to attack the Inquisitor and get a target lock fire control system and perhaps be set with a cloak token. So we see just one hit, re-rolling with the target lock gets her an additional hit. So 2 to the Inquisitor, and I can't tell. So he's spending the evade token there. It looks like he's probably got another evade. Whisper has no, or I'm sorry, the Inquisitor has no arc back on Whisper. So Whisper will be able to decloak next round. But it's really tricky because she can only decloak so many ways to set up for the next round of movement. As I call for a judge, let's go check out what's going on. Yep, so as the laser showed, Whisper is just out of arc from the Inquisitor, so back to dials. So having traveled from Cincinnati all the way up here, it's worth noting that I'm definitely rooting for an Ohio victory, but we'll see, especially after that awesome Ohio State and Michigan game. But as a Cincinnati fan, it's tough, but we can get more into that later. I probably just lost some viewers because I said that. We'll see. Draws, that's a good question. I believe she shot the Inquisitor previously. So as Matthew decloaks to the right, looks like he's... oh man, interesting play here from Matthew. He's going to overlap that cluster mine token, and he's going to take a stress as well, because and another damage. So Ryad is down to 2 hull, and that is not good.
How goes it?
She's got no actions. So Ryad just overlapped a cluster mine token, no actions, and she's stressed. As he puts a target lock token on her instead of a stress. It's all right. Very interesting maneuver from Matthew there. So this is really interesting. Whisper has been able to effectively dodge the Inquisitor last round, and depending on which way she turns, she could very well change the course of the game here. I don't know if Alex was anticipating Ryad moving through that cluster mine, as we see the Inquisitor target locking Whisper in anticipation for the one turn. Does he do it? Yes, he does. So Whisper down to 2 hull is going to take a nice range 1 shot onto the Inquisitor there. I'd probably take the evade here if I were Matthew. Looks like it's just the focus. So he's spent the target lock from what he had on the Inquisitor last round. Puts 4 hits on the Inquisitor. Oh, ouch. The Inquisitor has 1. He's taking 2 shields there. Inquisitor's taking 2 shields. So dodge 2, and I can't tell if Inquisitor's going to have shots on Whisper or not. That's a really, really hard angle for me to tell. He may call a judge over. Or not. Inquisitor's got no shots. Matthew's flying Whisper very, very well here. Ryad's down to 2 hull. Inquisitor's also down to 2 hull. And they've got 30 minutes left to play. I think we could anticipate perhaps a 3-bank from Ryad here, but she doesn't even have the Mark II, so she can't clear the stress easily. So possibly just a big 4 or 5K turn to try to get her back into the fight and clear that stress. I'm a huge Defender fan. I played Vestry and Merrick Steel before Veterans came out. So I flew Defenders a little while, and now I love flying the Triple Defender lists. Yeah, that's a good move to anticipate here. The only way around that potential block, I mean, he's going to check with Intel Agent, so he's going to know which way to decloak. Fantastic use of the card. And he's going to really be able to set up his next move. So it depends. Definitely setting up for the block here, as Aaron already called. And we'll see if Alex is able to turn in towards Ryad or not. Depends on what Ryad's going to do. Yeah, 3 turn, going to put Ryad again back onto a cluster mine. He has taken such unnecessary, and an asteroid. He's rolling 3 dice. 3 dice from that. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. So 3 dice, 1 from an asteroid, 2 from the cluster mine, only taking 1. So all Alex has to do is put 1 damage onto Ryad with the Inquisitor. I'm not sure if it's going to be possible or not, but I mean, he's pretty much just taking so much damage from those cluster mines. And again, Ryad is still stressed, so uh-oh. Inquisitor here, not in good shape though. So depending on what Whisper did, maybe a 1 bank. Yeah, it is big Sith. No attacks from Ryad, no attacks from Inquisitor. And I can't tell from here if Ryad's next maneuver template is going to overlap that asteroid or not. But we'll have to wait and see. But Alex has definitely got his points worth in cluster mines. That's huge. I don't think Ryad has taken any damage from physical attacks. I think it's just been cluster mines. What's up?
No, reaction.
How are they doing out there?
What's that?
How are they doing out there?
It's busy. Finishing up that first round.
Yeah, they're at 30 minutes right now.
Oh, 30 minutes left. 30 minutes left.
Left. Will you reference that for me? See if the time matches up. Yes, this game is close. And Whisper bumping into the Inquisitor there. Wow. Okay, so we're just ahead, which is fine. No big deal. OBS has crashed several times on me trying to enter in list information. So I think the easiest thing to do is just try to get lists in as soon as possible to avoid any future stream issues. We'll see. Yeah, I figured people may have an issue reading the text itself because of that font, but I haven't really had time. Like in the way I have the font adjusted, if I just go in and change it to a different font and try to adjust the size, it'll throw it all out of whack. So as long as it's somewhat readable, that's what matters. But again, if anybody has any questions during the stream, I'll be more than happy to answer them. And I don't think it overlapped here, but he's gonna, if he rolls, we'll know. Oh yeah, he's going to roll, so he definitely overlapped here. Ryad, last roll, nothing from the asteroid. However, she does get to attack this round. Where is she gonna? Ooh. Is this a 4K? That's awesome, Thor. I also spent a lot of time in Germany. Where are you from, man? You know, I can actually try that. Hopefully it won't crash OBS. I'll probably try it going into next round while I have some downtime. I can fidget with it. Oh, Hamburg, nice. I went to Frankfurt for military training. Ooh. Big attack from Whisper here. Rerolling with a target lock into blanks. So Inquisitor's thankful for that. Definitely. I see one evade. Two evades? Yep, evaded from the Inquisitor there. So Alex is rolling really nicely on defense. Yeah, I spent some time in Frankfurt and Ramstein for military training there for, and I love it. I got to go to Beer Fest in Stuttgart, the Kampfstatten Beer Festival, I think is what it was. Had a great time. Got stupid drunk. Had a blast. You have to do that when you go to a beer fest, though. Second largest in the world. I also agree, Aaron. Very ballsy play, but we'll see if it pays off. I mean, Inquisitor is debating on who he's attacking. I think he needs to go for Ryad here because he's going to get hard. It's going to be hard for Inquisitor to turn that. Looks like two evades there. Yeah, so two evades from Ryad. Hold on a second. Let's see. Hold on.
This one's pretty crazy. Normally, because of the size of the events, they can go over 2 days. But this one, it's where it's expected to get done around 1 a.m. game.
So the dice was canted on the very edge of the, the inner edge of the dice tray. The way I made the dice tray, I put the painter's tape so that it would kind of reflect the light from the inner edges, and that dice got cocked on that particular edge, which is interesting. So Matthew re-rolled it, and he re-rolled into an evade. And Alex's was okay with either option, but you gotta go with what's right and just follow the rules. So Ryad lives. Inquisitor going back to dials again. You guys got 25 minutes remaining. We're slightly ahead of the main clock time, which is cool, because as long as they get a 75-minute round time, then that's all that matters. I think the most aggravating part about my setup is the boom that I have on the tripod. I'm using an actuating arm attached to the tripod itself, and any slight movement seems to jostle the camera a little bit, so I apologize about that. So checking with Intel Agent there on Whisper. Choosing which way to decloak. Very, very well flown game on both sides. Even for Ryad to be able to take all that damage from cluster mines and an asteroid and still be able to live after all that is insane. And remember, there's no Palpatine on board here. Defenders are just tanky in general. So, Ryad has a straight green there, putting her stress, gets the evade from the X7, and taking the focus. Inquisitor. One turn here to the right. Has to barrel roll at least to get out of arc of Ryad. Yep. And we're going to see if Whisper turns to the right here. She could definitely possibly bump the Inquisitor. I'm very surprised that Ryad didn't K-turn that maneuver. Especially after seeing the direction in which the Inquisitor was going to go from Intelligence Agent, and there we go. There's the one turn with Whisper, and indeed the bump. So I think Matthew's playing a little bit too indecisively. He's getting his Intel Agent off, but it doesn't seem that he's really thinking of all the possibilities of how to counter that particular maneuver. So no shooting this round. Whisper no cloak action. And I believe the Inquisitor is free to K-turn here. That bank should have cleared the stress. No, we'll see. We'll see. So, moving into another round of activation. Matthew checking the Inquisitor's dial with Intelligence Agent. There are a lot of very interesting lists I've seen out here. A lot of Decimator with Hot Cop, a lot of Decimators in general. Yeah, but Draws, yes, you're right. He pushed, but then I thought he turned to the right for one to clear his stress, like he's doing now. So Inquisitor here, I suspect, will just token up, as is probably the best option. He's going to get range 1 to Ryad. Ryad's got the evade. Inquisitor is target locked from Whisper. It's safe to assume that he is target locked for the rest of the game because of fire control system. Interesting. Maybe barrel rolling away. In case Whisper is able to turn in here. Well, turn around and get shots on. Wow. Interesting action choice here by Alex. Possibly setting up for next round, but no modifiers going into... Oh, he's got the target lock on Whisper, so he didn't want to require it. Maybe setting up for the turn from Whisper here. All Matthew has to do is turn and barrel roll, and he's got Inquisitor and Arc. Yeah, that's really, really dangerous. If Whisper's got Arc on Inquisitor right now, she's just going to focus, and then that'll be really bad for Inquisitor because that's 5 dice at range 1. Inquisitor has no modifiers. I'm not sure what they were checking there. Just want to... So, Matthew ended up going a little fast and checking Arc there before his action, which is what Alex informed him of. And I just went over there to just double check. But Aaron, you're also right. He cannot check Arc there. And so he's not going to be able to get any actions now or shots again on the Inquisitor. So Inquisitor is going to Ryad. That's so crucial. And 3 huge hits. There goes Ryad. There goes Ryad. Even with the evade token, won't be able to dodge it. That's tough. Very, very tough. And that's just what regional events do to people. There's a lot of pressure and there's a lot of miscalculations and misplays, and that misplay was huge. Whisper can't decloak, so she's not going to be able to get Arc easily on the Inquisitor. It was a fantastic turn there. The barrel roll should have been the first thing Whisper did there after she turned. But it's okay. Matthew's going to learn from this. And they're really close on points right now. The Inquisitor's at 25, Whisper's at 32. There's a 7-point difference in their 2 lists. So, guys, after this particular game finishes, if I have enough time, I'll see if I can get the players on, but I doubt I'll be able to have time to do it. I know I'm just a few minutes ahead of the event game clock, and I mean that because they set their clock for 90 minutes to allow 15 minutes for setup. But once the players get over here, once they get dials down after their ships and everything, I'm just like, hey, you guys good to go, and I'll start 75 minutes on the dot. So we'll see. I can try to incorporate it differently later on. What in the world? Yeah, I was gonna say she definitely cleared there. And Alex is like, what's going on? Matthew's thinking things too quickly here. That was the expression on my face as well, man. Same thing with Alex. I was like, ooh, what the hell, man? It's another thing worth noting that from watching a lot of either streamed events or post-production events, this game is pretty taxing. I mean, imagine playing chess for 10 plus hours out of the day. But I mean, this being round one, it's gonna be a long day. But it's okay. I mean, mistakes definitely happen. As Whisper checking Inquisitor's dial of Intel Agent. He's checking to see. Let's see if Whisper's going to be able to fit. If she fits, yeah, I don't think she would have. So now Inquisitor's going to be able to have a beat on her. So, what in the world? Hold on just a second.
They can't fit it, has to like a beat.
So since Matthew put his template down on the left side, he has to try to fit it. When I went over there to check, the very left corner of Whisper's base is probably literally on top of the actual playmat line. So they're going to get an official judge to come over. I can assist with some things like art checks and ruling questions, you know, because I got a laser and tools and stuff. But I'm not going to call this one. So let's see what Andrew calls it here. He's the head judge. And he's even like, oh man. Very good point as well, Charles. And as I mentioned, Ryad took a ton of damage from those cluster mines. Let's see if let's see what it is here. I mean, you can't decloak off the board. So he is calling it on. Okay. I personally would have taken a laser and tried to do it differently, but it's literally it's way too close. Way too close. If he can fit the one turn here, we'll see. Yeah, I don't remember Ryad actually taking physical damage until she had like almost no hull left. But definitely don't really see trick shot, especially on a defender. Normally it's push the limit on Ryad, even lone wolf or juke. It's free points with the X7, but perhaps he wanted the initiative bid. So Alex can probably predict where Whisper's going. He's got to leave it up to his dice here. So as we're nearing the 10-minute mark, so Whisper flies off the board. That's tough, and that'll be the game. That'll be the game. So, wow. No, that one bank or that one turn did not fit Whisper. Very, very tough. Very tough. Hey, come on, join in. Join in.
Oh, I'm about to
Come on.
get to the party.
So, joining us is Dave Siemens, a local player in the Columbus area.
Hello.
He's played at our store once before. How was your first round matchup, man?
I did really well. I 100-0 to Pop Ace player.
Oh, what are you playing?
It's called Paratani now, I guess, but it's an Atani Mind Link build that uses Ventress
Awesome.
and Fan and Man Array.
Fantastic, man. I definitely wish you luck in the next round. This was an interesting match to watch.
Yeah, I see a lot of Imperial here today.
Don't think Ryad took any physical damage from shots until like the very last few
Oh,
rounds
that's
of
rough.
combat.
That's rough.
Just took damage from cluster guns. So it was anybody's game, like going into the 30-minute mark and then just
right.
pressure.
See, you got your dice setup figured out though.
Yes,
That's
I did.
fantastic.
So it's not as hard as I thought it was going to be. Sometimes it'll come in on the screen depending on like if a shadow hits it just right, you'll be able
Right.
to see it. But
Very cool.
yeah, it's great. So yeah, awesome. That'll conclude round 1, and then I guess we'll be up waiting for pairings. They should have like 10 minutes left on time.
I think there's 14, if I remember seeing right. So
Awesome. Yeah, I'm definitely gonna take care of some business there. Yeah, that's the comment of the day right there. Matthew definitely beat
no,
himself.
that's rough. I'll have to watch it later. I want to see it.
Yeah, I'll put it up. I should have all these videos cut tomorrow.
Cool.
Depends
Yeah,
on
very
how
cool.
much
We'll be driving, but I'll definitely check it out. Anyway,
Awesome.
nice talking to you.
Good luck,
Thanks.
brother. I'll talk to you later.